really quick and you get it done and you, like the game's over and everybody's just like, what just happened? He didn't even kiss me goodnight.
As I sit and I ponder for an EDH spec, I take a look at my decks and realize there's not much test, cause I've been blasting and casting so long that even my cousin thinks that my mind is gone. But I ain't never stomped a man that didn't deserve it. Me be winning pre-releases, you know that's unheard of. You better watch how I'm talking and planes walking, or you and my cousin, you will be trying to talk.
You're trying to talk there.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
So here's the funny thing with that. It's Coolio.
Yeah.
It's Gangster's Paradise.
For sure.
But I'd say the first 5-10 seconds, I only had the Weird Al version in my head. And so I was like, oh shit, who sings that?
What is the real version of this? This was my favorite song forever.
Remember, what was that movie?
It was Dangerous Minds.
Dangerous Minds.
Yeah.
That movie was awesome.
I don't think I was allowed to watch it until like 5 years after.
Like 5 years ago.
Maybe 5 years ago. I was a lot older. It wasn't like when it came out when I got to watch it.
Yeah, I like that movie a lot. It probably doesn't hold up now.
I mean, you got Coach Carter, which is very similar.
Wait, was that by somebody?
Oh, yeah. Aussie Nate sent that one in. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, friend.
That was pretty good. You only had a couple of fumbles there. Not like me last week where I started 3 times and couldn't get them. And it was the easiest one to do. Re-listening to that, I was going to cut it out. And I was like, nah, it's funnier.
It is funny.
Fucking up. Welcome, CommanderSmiths.
We're the CommanderSmiths.
I'm Adam Smith.
And I'm Lowery Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins.
This is episode number 86.
We didn't even talk about that one. Thank God
I wrote
you
it down beforehand. I was like, we did 85. I was just looking at it. So yeah, episode 86. We got kind of a special one for you. Not really. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
it's the same as normal.
But aren't they all special?
They are. We're gonna have what are we talking about today? We got Kenrith. We're talking about today.
Okay, yeah. So it's gonna be we're playing with the idea of the spotlight decks now.
Just tickling it.
Tickling the taint. Kenrith's taint. The return
There's
taint.
our taint talk.
And so...
T-minus 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Good job, Lowery.
Did we get that far in?
Yeah.
How long did I sing for? But I think we're going to have more of a discussion, a little bit more focused on the deck that I kind of built.
Yeah, you more finished it than I did because I didn't do it at all.
Yeah.
I had my idea, and so that's what I'm going to kind of discuss my part, and then we'll have a little bit more of a discussion with that. Perfect pause for that. I will also open a beer. What are we drinking here, Lowery? You are sharing with Adam.
I am sharing with Adam, an Indeed Brewing Company. This is a Mexican honey light.
Ooh, honey.
Lager. So it's just a light lager.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, I like that. It is very light.
Yeah, it has really nice flavor with it. Kind of like a sweetness.
Oh, you can get the honey as a later taste. I didn't get it right away.
I'm not a huge fan of lagers though. Like lagers are kind of like your Budweiser, your Miller.
Okay.
Those are
I actually don't know the difference between beers and just like which one's lighter and darker.
Yeah, and so this is one of the better lagers in my opinion.
Yeah, so pretty good.
All you got to do is try a little bit, and a lager becomes okay.
Yeah, I like this actually quite a bit. I like honey stuff. My favorite whiskey is Bushmills Honey.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good
on
whiskey.
The rocks. But yeah, this is delicious. What did you have this week that you weren't sharing with me? I got a little confused on
Chronicopia from Venn Brewing.
It was funny because we talked about this before the cast. He sent out the tweet, and then he had the smoke weed every day, except it was drink beer every day. And I was like, I don't get it.
That doesn't come along at all. There is no GIF for Nate Dogg saying smoke weed every day.
Yeah,
which blew my mind. I spent like a half hour looking.
trying to find it. And then I tried to look for it. I was like, there's got to be something, and could not find it.
So any of you GIF makers out there, you can do that.
But the funny thing is on my Twitter account, on everybody's Twitter, the beer is cut off. And it wasn't until somebody...
It looks like Chronicopia.
It just looks... Yeah, it just says the name in it. And then somebody liked the tweet that you sent, and then I could see it in a small version on my phone. I was like, holy shit, that's a pot leaf. Who's drinking pot? So that's my first question. I was like, did that have pot in it, Lowery?
No.
It didn't. But it was just the name
all
of
I can tell you, it was Chronicopia. And it's a dank IPA, West Coast style. And after brushing my teeth, my wife definitely said, "Whew, that was a strong beer." As I lay down next to her and I just breathe in her face. She's like, "Well." But it was good for me.
A toothbrush, you said.
Yeah, after brushing my teeth.
Hey, I got a joke
brushed
for
my
you.
tongue too. Oh, geez, what?
How do you know a toothbrush was invented by a Packer fan?
I don't know.
Because if it was anybody else, it'd be called a teeth brush.
It's because they're missing teeth.
Us Viking fans, we don't care for the likes of Green Bay Packer fans. Unless you're our listener, we like you a lot.
We appreciate you.
So this, like I said, we're talking about Kenrith a little bit more. So breakdown of what you did, kind of an idea I had, and then maybe some other things with Kenrith.
Yeah.
We're also going to continue our 5's.
Enchantments.
Woo! This one was a little... My list
different.
was a lot bigger.
Yeah, my list was bigger too, which is kind of surprising. So maybe there's like a wider array of enchantments that we like to use, whereas maybe there's more specific creatures and instants.
I think I got a
using.
good list down, but like again, I go through my binder and I like this list. I added these today because this was my original list. I added 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to my list just today. I guess I hadn't gone through my binder, but
maybe not. I just went through my decks and looked at cards that I really liked. That you
normally use,
and then,
And that's how I broke it down to the 5. So I got over 10. I think I got over 10. Yeah, I added a couple as we were talking.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, they're not going to make it, but these are cards I like to use. So we'll also want to hear what other cards you guys like to use. So at the end, if we haven't talked about one, maybe suggest a couple that you guys like to use as well. And then we're getting into anal questions. There it is.
I don't know why you always mess that up. I think you're into stuff that I don't understand.
What? In the butt. All right. Okay, so
we're on Twitter.
Yeah, there we go.
And YouTube. And Gmail.
There we go.
And something else. And Patreon.
Patreon. Oh,
all at Commander-Smiths.
Box giveaway still going on
that's
for
a good point.
October. So patrons, for each dollar you've donated for October, that's one ticket in for the drawing at the end of the month. And again, that'll go through the rest of this month. What else? Oh, you already told your you're not
the
sharing
beer
with
thing.
Adam.
You do
my proxy of the week was upon a lot of requests, and we kind of figured we were going to do it anyways once we got the box. Arcane Signet,
for sure.
That was one of my favorite designs because I had to completely. I haven't done that really where. Normally, I take the picture,
adjust the hand.
Yeah, I had to flip the hand because the hand, as you know, is the original Arcane Signet. It's kind of facing sideways. Well, when I shrunk that image up, it just looked like meat and like one little finger sticking out, and then there was like a little
just
emblem.
A meat paw.
Yeah, I was like, that just looks fucking weird. So then I spun the hand around. It looked weird facing up because then the emblem was covered by the text of what the card does. So then I flipped it so it was facing down, so that kind of takes over.
And you put the Commander-Smith logo on there.
That's pretty sweet. I liked it. Tough guy sniff.
Yeah, no, you.
So, but I'll give another hint. This next week's is also going to be a pretty good staple of what we use in Commander that just came out in the new set. Lowery might have requested it also.
I don't actually know what it is. I request a lot of things.
You got it. I gave it to you already today.
Oh, you didn't already do that one?
No, that was for this week.
Yeah, no,
you got a pre one.
That one's dope. I'm all right with that.
So, but yeah, that should be it for our tags. We went through that fast. It's good.
Wow. We're at 9 minutes.
Hey, we beat the 10-minute mark.
I'm all right with that.
Should we jump into our Kenrith then?
Do we want to talk about the packs?
Oh, yeah.
Or the new stuff?
I guess we'll do some magical news.
Magical news.
Thank you.
Or is that actually
I have a sounder.
Is that a thing? Yeah, just put that sounder over the top. Shit. All right, so I can talk about this one really quick. So they are doing a mystery booster, which we know literally nothing about other than it says mystery on the pack. And then they'll release more information at MF Richmond. Motherfucking Richmond. Everybody's thinking of it. Everybody's singing it. It's not Magic Fest. It's motherfucking city name. It's ridiculous.
And then they also revealed that they're going to be having unsanctioned set, kind of.
Motherfucking stupid.
Okay, it's dumb except for the one part that sticks out for me, and you can tell me which part sticks out for me. But it's
sure
you get each copy of unsanctioned contains the following: 5 30-card decks
from unsets.
So it's all gonna be silver bordered.
Yeah.
2 6-sided dice,
which will be silver.
I don't even have.
Actually, I don't know.
It's like, what? Where'd you get that information? 2 or 10 double-sided tokens, silver.
I just fucking hit my mic.
10 full art basic lands, 5 of them regular, 5 of them premium. I'm guessing what the premium would be is foil. Except you would think they put foil there.
That's. I mean, how else is it going to be premium? They're going to go. It's already full art.
Yeah. But when you say 5 regular, 5 foil, why did they put premium there?
I don't know.
This is off of the Wizards website, by the way.
Yeah,
We're
assuming foil, but okay, and then
one reusable box,
which everybody will throw away.
What? Yeah. The one thing I did read was the unsanctioned also comes with new full art black bordered basic lands, so the lands that you can actually use in any other deck. Where if it's silver bordered, you can't use that if they were silver border because you could see that if you don't have them card.
Basic land. Yeah. No. You can see them all the time. I don't think the backside of a uncard is silver, is it?
No. Like,
yeah, but this border.
But if you have them unsleeved, you can see the silver on the side. You know, if you turn your deck, so that's why the lands are always black or they don't have the silver on them.
Silver designates like it's not tournament legal whatsoever. So you wouldn't put silver around a basic land.
But one of the other parts is you can see the silver on the side.
All right.
If you're
I didn't realize that part. But this fucking... I mean,
you know,
they don't have a price on it because there is an MSRP. They don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And so we don't have any idea. But it's 5 30-card decks. I bet you this is going to end up being $40 or $50.
Probably.
And there's no way I'm paying that.
What if the lands are sweet?
I don't fucking care. I don't care.
Well,
I'm not going to spend $60 on 5 premium... full art lands. I'm just not. I'm not.
Okay,
I'm not.
Well, okay. The one thing is, it's saying new full art basic land. The thing is if it was 5 foils of what if they're as good as the unstable ones? I mean, those are going for $50 a piece at least. You know, islands more than.
Well,
that.
then more than likely you're not going to be able to find this. So it's $100. Which I'm not going to pay for.
Well, no, we can't really speculate on it until we get more information. I just was more excited about the lands part. More full art land, unstable, all the
you're getting
lands
5
really
foils.
Like. 5
which
foils
is
and 5
nice. Like I bought some packs of the last one just to get some of the...
I got 2 boxes of them. I got a couple of them for Christmas too. Yep. So I have a ton of those. But
so it just... I don't know.
The other part of it is, now that I love the look of the unstable lands, but now with Modern Horizons with the snow-covered stuff, I feel like I'm always going to be using those now because there's no downside to those.
Well,
you know,
you bought 10 boxes, so you have a ton.
There's more boxes than that. I have a lot of those, but those are the ones I'm going to use because there's no downside to them.
Can I borrow some of your unstable lands?
No.
And I'll forget which ones. They're
all in my deck, so you're not going to be able to borrow them. So I don't know. We'll see when that comes out when we get closer, but that's not until February 29th. So, all right, let's move into
Kenrith. The Return King. This was the... buy a box promo, and you can kind of get him in the collector packs as well, but he's essentially 4 colorless and a white for 5/5 legendary creature, human noble, and then a bunch of activated abilities, which is pay a red, all creatures gain trample and haste until end of turn, green and a colorless, put a 1/1 counter on target creature, 2 colorless and a white, target player gains 5 life, 3 colorless and a blue, target player draws a card, and 4 colorless and a black, target creature gains a card from a graveyard, gets put in the battlefield under its owner's control. So, one thing that we're like, there's a bunch of different ways to build this. And well, Adam specifically stated that quote verbatim. and I was like, yeah, I don't think we'll build it the same or similar or have the same idea.
So you actually built it for the most
because
part.
we said we would,
yeah,
and then you didn't.
I basically did like 3 years ago, and then that deck sat there, and then we started this podcast, and we built so many decks that I just killed that deck. So
yeah, it wasn't worth the time, resources.
The deck that if I am going to build this deck, which I still don't know if I'm going to outright build it, the idea I was going to use is kind of going off my old deck, which was using partner commanders with Thrasios, which is green-blue, and then Rayhan, which is
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. No, it's Rohan.
Oh, they're cousins.
Yeah. Don't worry.
That's why you wanted to build them.
Yeah, but so that dealt with 1/1 counters. Rayhan, what is his exact?
Like whenever a creature with 1/1 counters on it dies, put 1/1 counters on Rayhan.
Or on a target creature.
On any creature?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then it doesn't seem right. I mean, they don't go together necessarily, Thrasios, but Thrasios was just my way of...
It's pay for, look at the top card. If it's land, put it into play. If not, draw the card.
Yeah.
Like, Thrasios is bonkers powerful.
So that was the idea of that deck. It's actually just scry one.
No, and then you reveal the top card.
Reveal. Okay, but you could scry one first.
Yeah, okay, that's a good point. That makes it better. Paying 4 just to be able to do that would have been good, but then scrying.
But so that was kind of the idea of that deck. I had it 90% built. It was to the point of Adam has 150 cards and needs to cut it down to make this deck, and then I just didn't have time to do it. This Kenrith seems like, I mean, the green part of it is adding a 1/1 counter.
So what you were thinking is you would probably focus in on putting a 1/1 counter on a card and drawing cards and just go like green, blue, white?
Yes and no. Green, blue, a lot of the creatures that came in with 1/1 counters, but the other part of Rohan.
We can call him Rohan. Doesn't matter. It feels more natural.
But the other part of him was... I was wanting my creatures to die so I could move counters around. Mm-hmm. The black part of Kenrith,
returning a
you had a giggle
creature. No, I laugh because you laugh.
It's below the waist is where is the black part of it.
That's why he's king. But you're returning creatures from your graveyard into play with 1/1 counters on them still.
Yeah. Well,
or
bringing them back into play. Yeah. Like this is being able to recur. My creatures coming back.
I like that little engine. That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of the build of it. The main creature, the creatures that come in are the ones, the green and blue guys, and getting the counters. But then I'm able to sack them with certain things. You know, we've talked about the sack engines. Green has a ton of them. We have the artifacts.
But you're in 5 colors, so you can use everything. The best in every sack
good point.
Outlet that you want.
I guess I could do that route. I would have more just focused on those 3 when I built the deck.
Like green, black, blue, and then just making sure that you have a little bit of, like being able to play Kenrith reliably, even though it's 5, which is later and nice.
That's not the build you did.
It is not. And I went to EDH Rec just to see what other people were doing, and I pretty much disagreed with everything that they were doing. They were turning it into a giving deck, like a group hug deck. Mm-hmm. And I've said this multiple times, for me, it just does not work. Unless I'm able to control it.
Now, if you had a giving deck like that and you let somebody else use it, do you think it would work for them? Or is it just doesn't work?
It depends on what the person... that's twofold. Like, I want to be able to win as well as do certain concepts with a deck. Group hug generally has to have... You're either... Like, Zedru, you can kind of win with like a Lab Maniac. Like when drawing out your deck, and like you can kind of win that way, but otherwise you're just kind of controlling or just giving people gaining life, making it hard, being to
everybody's
die.
Friend.
Yeah,
and then somehow win.
This is the same thing, but there isn't any real way to win in my mind. Mm-hmm. And so what I was trying to do was just I started out with I want these effects to be either good for me or bad for my opponents. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like... and I started off with the idea of, like, I know Nekusar.
Yeah.
Whenever an opponent draws a card, they take a damage.
And everybody draws an extra card.
and then you can force with Kenrith
Make
to draw
people
more cards.
That's a hefty draw ability, though, but
Sure. And so, but it's more like, and then there's like the new Obnixilis, Fate Unraveler that I put in there. I didn't go to, like, Underworld Dreams is a card, but that's 3 black.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of hard to do in a 5 color.
5.
But also there's Consecrated Sphinx.
Yeah.
So whenever they draw a card, you could force that, and you draw 2 cards, which is a nice way to go about it. Or actually the card that's really started me on this was Tainted Remedy, which is that's why I brought it up.
Of course, you got the taint in there. If an opponent would gain life, that player loses that much life instead. So you're going off of the tapping 3, the 2 colorless and a white. Target player gains 5 life,
which is really draining them of 5 life.
That's interesting.
And then you can also go Sanguine Bond.
And so that's a foil Sanguine Bond.
So when you gain the life, you can drain somebody 5.
Sweet.
It's not like, I was just looking for more advantages. Kavu Predators are pretty cool. Creature.
Whenever an opponent gains life, put that many 1/1 counters on Kavu, and he has trample.
And so, like, you make somebody gain 5 life, like if you're wanting them to stay in the game, but you get to turn your Kavu Predator into a 6/6. You could do that over and still attack them and probably drain them
5
that much.
life?
Yeah.
It'd be a 7/7.
So, he starts out at 2/2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bam. And then
I see one that I like that you have in this pack.
Kolrath Knight.
Creatures your opponents control with counters on them can't attack or block, so you're putting a 1/1 counter. I like that.
Putting
idea.
a 1/1 counter on their creatures to make them not be able to attack or block. And that's where I was like, those were a couple of the first ones that popped into my head. There really aren't many more hate cards, which sucks. But I like the idea of hate cards.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of this deck goes off of whenever an opponent does X. And so some of the big ones, because you're 5 color and you kind of want to ramp because you can be heavy, is whenever you want to be able to play lands, but if they're doing lands as well.
Yeah, so you have Sire of Stagnation, which is a card we keep talking about, bringing up. That's whenever a land enters the battlefield under an opponent's control, that player exiles the top 2 cards of their library, and you draw 2 cards.
Yep, Zozu the Punisher deals 2 damage to anybody that has a land come into play. And then
you have Polluted Bonds, which is an enchantment whenever a land comes into play under an opponent's control, that player loses 2 life and you gain 2 life.
And so it's kind of land hate for when they're doing, and that's just going to happen. They're going to play lands.
So, quick question on this. How many creatures are you running with it?
I didn't count. It's a decent split between enchantments and creatures.
Okay. Because I was curious, because the last, bringing back the creatures, it's good for that deck then, you know what I'm saying? Like, if anybody kills these guys.
Yeah, you can just bring them back if need be.
Because you also have, those are some big fatties. Think of Sire of Stagnation coming out as a hasty bitch with trample.
Yeah, give it the red.
Yeah,
and
just one more and it comes out. That's a 5/7 trample coming out. So that isn't even a part of your deck necessarily, but having that ability is kind of nice. Just as a side
it has a ton of utility in there, and a big reason why the land hate is important are these 2 cards here:
New Frontiers and Collective Voyage, which is basically having everybody
put X amount of lands into play tapped. They are May abilities, so if somebody doesn't want to take that damage, they don't have to.
Mm-hmm.
But you get a ton more land that way, and also it's fixing you because you're 5 color. You're pretty color like land intensive with your commander there.
Yeah.
So it kind of does a lot, and so throwing some hate in there helps out. And then some basic. This one's kind of a pretty cool card.
Protective Sphere. Oh, this is. You get to pay. It's 1 white and 2 colors to come out. It's an enchantment. You tap 1, pay 1 life, prevent all damage that would be dealt to you this turn by a source of your choice that shares a color mana spent on this activation cost. Since you're playing all 5 colors,
you can kind of control. If somebody has a big hasty or big creature you can't really deal with, you can prevent it for whatever color they are.
That's pretty sweet.
And since you're 5 color, it allows you to. I said there's a lot of enchantments in here, so Zur the Enchanter is a really nice tutor that's pretty fair, in my opinion.
Pretty fair.
Defense of the Heart is kind of a cool card. because it's one of my favorites. Didn't make my list.
Yeah, that's a good card. That's
But
one we've been playing forever.
If your opponents have 3 or more creatures,
You get to go search for 2 creatures and put them directly.
there
in
isn't
play.
anything super insane in here. So,
I don't know. You have some pretty big creatures that we already talked about.
But the fun one that I think is going to be really cool is Dance of the Mance.
So it's off the new set of
Trying to keep myself together.
Mance in the Pants. You're not gonna. Is that when
All
you
right,
cried when you were laughing?
I'm good. Yeah. Dance of the Mance.
White, blue, and X return up to X target artifact and or non-aura enchantment cards with converted mana cost X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. If 6 or more is spent, those permanents are 4/4 creatures in addition to their other types.
And so you already have like that creature coming back with Kenrith. So this should help out on the other half of your deck, which are enchantments. And just like a really quick package, there's Sunscorched Regent and
Foil, man, you got that one in foil. That's the
I put my
dragon.
decks.
2 white, 3 colorless, flying 4/3. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a 1/1 counter on him and gain a life.
And so that's your opponents are playing spells. Same thing with Managorge Hydra, Ishai, Ojutai, Dragon Speaker, Vultra Zombie can get pretty big whenever a card goes into a graveyard. You get to put a counter on it. And then Ravenous Slime, whenever a creature goes into the graveyard of an opponent, put counters to the power on it.
Did you put the shapeshifter red dude in there? The one that whenever an opponent casts a spell, he's 1 red, 2 colorless, and whenever he's a changeling, not shapeshifter, changeling.
Towering Mauler.
Yeah.
No, that didn't make it. It just didn't do enough.
Yeah, because he doesn't have trample, does he?
No, just a straight, just red
Counters.
colorless. Like the Managorge Hydra has trample, the slime like exiles creatures.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of them are doing a lot of other things. So this package I think kind of should go in with most Kenrith decks. It doesn't have to be specifically in this one, and we can read through the ones that are very.
So training grounds, of course, it makes everything cost 2 less. So everything
all activated abilities.
Pyromancer's familiar,
Doing the same thing.
Illusionist brazzers. Oh, bracers.
Bracers.
Sorry. There's no Z's.
But that one doubles all activated abilities
And then
for
you got
whatever it's
Chromatic
equipped
Lantern, Land Tax, Fires of Invention on another new card.
Actually, this is a pretty cool one because what that allows you to do is play spells for free from your hand, 2 of them equal to the amount of lands that you have. But it also, the key thing is leaving mana open for your activated abilities on Kenrith.
So you can do that. That's a
You can
perfect
do
deck to
both.
have that in. Yeah, you can do that on other people's turns because you can't cast spells on other people's turns, but you're not playing instants and sorceries in this deck.
Yeah, not a ton.
Sorceries wouldn't matter. Yeah, you're gonna play sorceries on your turn. But yeah, so I like that in there. And then you have Mono Reflection,
Doubles all mana. It's crazy.
Wilderness Reclamation.
Allows you to untap your land. Same thing
then
with
Seaborn
Seaborn Muse.
Muse.
It's just a huge mana sink for being able to do. And then the last package is just like a bunch of hate cards whenever an opponent does something.
So you have Painful Quandary. It's whenever an opponent casts a spell, they lose 5 life unless they discard a card.
Yep. There's going to be a lot of hate, so you can...
Cindervines. I like this guy. I don't even know how to say his name. Karavek, the Merciless.
Oh, yeah.
Is that how you say
That's
his name?
about right.
How would you say it?
I'd have to read it.
We're
not like
whenever an
buddies or anything.
opponent casts a spell, Karavek deals damage to target creature or player equal to that spell's converted mana cost. That's pretty sweet. I like this card.
That card's
a lot.
killed me before.
Yeah. Obnixilis has also killed you by you doing it to yourself.
Yes.
Aven Mind Sensor.
Stops your opponents from looking through their grave or their library.
Michiko
Konda. Yeah, so whenever a permanent or something deals damage to you, that player sacrifices a permanent they control.
That's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Dragon Lair Spider.
Whenever an opponent plays a spell, you get to 1/1 insect.
Kalida's Trader of Git.
Whenever you have an opponent's creature goes in the graveyard, you get a 2/2 zombie.
Sangromancer, I like this guy.
Whenever a creature dies of an opponent's, you get to gain 3 life. Whenever an opponent discards a card, you get to gain 3 life.
Cabal, Council of Allocation.
Whenever an opponent plays a non-creature spell, they lose 2 life. You gain 2 life.
Sig River Cutthroat.
Whenever an opponent loses 3 or more life in a turn, you get to draw a card.
Yeah, at the end of each turn.
At the end of each turn.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm glad you got this one in there. Runic Armasaur.
Yeah, whenever an opponent does an activated ability of a creature, artifact, or land that's not mana.
It's just creature or land.
Creature or land. If it's not for mana, you get to draw a card.
You may. And then Immolation Shaman.
I'm not as good at that one. Is that whenever an opponent activates an ability?
Of an artifact, creature, or land that isn't a mono ability, same thing as...
They take a damage. And then you can pump it.
3/3 and Menace.
Yeah, so the nice thing is like, if you do have like a Training Grounds out, like reduce that cost, you could like pump it if you wanted to. So, I mean, it's more of like just going after your opponents. So if you hate Rhystic Study, this is not the deck for you. Because you're always checking on everything that everybody's ever doing.
So this needs...
Did you play a spell? You need to be able to discard a card or take 5 life. You're also taking the damage for this.
What you're saying is I should make a list of this, of Digitokens that I need to make?
Kenrith Digitoken King of Digitokens.
You're going to have more Digitokens than there are cards
actual
in the deck.
tokens. Yeah, so this is something that really you have to pay attention to everything that everybody's doing.
Oh, that seems exhausting.
Oh, it might be. That's the only reason why, so I put all the cards together. It's really hard for me to want to build a 5-color deck that needs a really good mana base. So like Golos, I did 5-color, but that's because of gates. I'm not using gates anywhere else. I'm not pulling resources from other decks. It's not like, oh, I want to hold on to this gate card so that I can use it in my next deck. Here, fetches, shocks, duels are really important.
Oh, yeah,
along with basic lands, being able to search them up. Like the basic lands isn't a big deal, but
how many basics do you think you'll throw in there?
I am not sure. Probably 15.
So
like a third, a little bit more.
3 of each?
Yeah, probably 3 of each. But then I got to figure out, like, green's probably more important than red, probably. So, like, I don't know how I'm going to skew it at all, but...
Because are you going to do, like, your command towers and all that stuff? You're going to have your 5-color mono... is it mono reflection?
City of Brass and... Oh,
not mono reflection.
Confluence.
Yeah, mono confluence. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think again, I haven't gone through it because I don't know if I want to be. I'm like, okay, so I went from 16 decks up to 20 decks, and now I'm super thin on all my fetches and shocks.
That's why you use proxies.
That's what I'm saying, on my proxies. So I just haven't adjusted my proxy level for the core, like the amount of decks that I have. So that's a little bit of a training process.
So out of the 5 different color usages in this, really red is the one that you don't have like a thing for, but it just flows into it.
It'll work just about anywhere.
But everything else, maybe 1/1 counters you don't use as much.
That goes well, because one little theme in there was like the Sunscorch Regent that puts natural 1/1 counters on it. So it kind of like still works in there a little bit because I have creatures that naturally put 1/1 counters on them.
But you know what I'm saying? Like the 1/1 counter part is more of just another bonus because you're not like necessarily having cards. Like, because I guess with the Riot deck, a lot of the 1/1 counter stuff isn't just that my creatures will get the counters. It's like using peer or magitive, whatever, whenever you
rascal,
whatever, but like they have an ability when they have counters on them. Yours aren't necessarily doing that. You just have some that have the counters. So your main focus seems like to me is the white, blue, and black part, kind of, but not even that necessarily.
I'd say white and blue.
Yeah, white and blue is your main focus,
and green's more important with the land ramp and just like having those 2 that has everybody put lands into play, and then if you have like Zozu or one of the other ones with the hate.
That's what's kind of cool is like there's you have your main focus, but you're able to use all 5 colors, so you're able to be like, all right, well, I'm using green and whatever, it's still using the main idea of the deck.
Yeah.
And then you have the bonuses of tapping 1 red and they all gain haste.
And it just works. And the nice thing is too is like all of these abilities for Kenrith you can give to other players. So if you are wanting to give somebody all of their all their creatures trample and haste, you allow that. Just be like, hey, don't send them my way.
We need to kill this guy now. Yeah.
Clearly, this is the threat, and then give them all trample and haste. I bring back
your creature from your graveyard.
Yeah, so that's where you could do the politics I think the thing against it, though, like that idea of being able to help people when there's a different king, is that this deck's going to be so freaking annoying that everybody's just going to want to kill me anyway. Because I'm going, oh, you're doing this? This triggers. Oh, you're going to do that now? Okay, that triggers and that triggers.
Seems like a Lowery deck.
I can see this being super annoying. Yeah. It's going to be like, oh, did you do something? All right, something's going to trigger. You're gonna, yeah. So
I need to get.
I have a feeling
I have to do digi tokens for you because you're gonna have a lot going on there. We seriously do need to make a list for what you have there.
I think it's pointless at this point. I think I just need to pay attention.
You do that anyways.
Yeah, which is also annoying.
What this also brought up is what I was thinking is the decks, the ideas that we came up with are completely different. And it doesn't very often you come across a commander that you typically have a commander and you're like, all right, this is the build you have to do. I think the last time that there were different builds is with the partners stuff. The partners, you can mix and match and make different decks with it. But this is like the first commander that I can think of recently that you can actually, there's different builds that you can do with this.
It's like you're just saying, you're thinking that it's really wide open and has a lot of different abilities and you can just like concentrate on one or two or three of them.
I still think the black ability should have been going with the adventure stuff, but that's just one thing about this card. But
I would have liked if, like, instead of putting a 1/1 counter on, having green create like a food token.
Oh god.
But also like having the black, instead of going into play, having it go to their hand.
Yeah.
And then you can recast the adventure. Yeah, it'd have to be costed differently, both of them. So I feel like these abilities are super generic. And that probably is what allows you to play with a bunch of different things. Like if it was food and adventure based, you're basically only playing with food and adventure-based cards. So that might narrow you down a little bit more.
Yeah, I guess this more fits for Commander in general. It just seems like for the set, that would have been better to have what you were just saying there. Sure. But I think in general, they need to make more... It made me think we need more commanders like this, where there's a variety of ways that you could build this, you know?
And you brought this up earlier this week when we were talking about it, and I think one of the downfalls is with a card like this is that a lot of people just put good stuff. What stops everybody from putting every good card that's possibly in there? It can go anyway. They can just go like combo, because it is every color. It doesn't even have to be Kenrith. You know what I mean? But any 5 color can be like that.
Yeah.
Or you can just go, I'm going to put every good card that I'm not using in other decks and slap that together as well and not have that. I think that's one way that a lot of decks go, is they become good stuff decks, which isn't really how we play either.
No, we try to do themes. Everything has to fit in a theme. Like I could see this being, you could build it as more focused on the red. Seems the easiest and the most brutal for being able to get him out, and then you're casting maybe being more. It could be a 5 color, but you don't have to go all 5 color. Because if I was to build this, mine was basically going to be the 3, and I'll have the land to be able to do the other parts of it. But I think the 3 colors are where I was just going to stick with it.
Yeah, I can see that too. I don't think there's anything wrong with focusing on a couple of.
But I see what you're saying with
the abilities.
With the 5, people might just go.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
But I did, like I said, on EDH Rec, I noticed more people being like group hug and giving stuff. And for me, that's just not my style at all. And I didn't, like, even with like Marissi, the Naya one from the Commander set, where it's goading creatures, there was a lot of people. There was somebody that commented on our tapped out, and they're like, you should do this card, this card, this card, this card. And all of them just gave opponents the advantage. Every card that I chose, and actually I cut some that gave like my opponents too much of an advantage. I cut those and made sure that it was only beneficial for me or somewhere that I can control, or they can't backstab me and stuff like that, because I think that's more likely to happen. So for me, that sucks when, like, I want my deck to work. I want people to attack other people. But if people are hitting my Marissi and I can't goad, then my deck just sucks.
Yeah.
And you can't go that route either, in my opinion. Like, I think you need to be able to balance it pretty nice.
For sure.
So when it can get backstabbed on you, it's trouble.
You know what I'm thinking? I think I'm going to build my first sliver deck with Kenrith.
I mean, you could.
Yeah, you totally
could. They do have like 5 other legends that are 5 color and in tribe.
Yeah, but it'd be awesome if you play this. No one would see it coming. You're like, I'm playing my Kenrith deck. Oh, okay,
shit,
cool.
This might be the best werewolf commander out there too.
Yeah, that's good point.
If we're doing this.
Yeah. But seriously, you know how much people hate slivers, right? You see a sliver deck and you kill it immediately. Like, it doesn't even get time to breathe. You come out with this, no one's coming at you.
Nobody sees it, and they're like, oh that's
okay,
weird. Gemite sliver?
Yeah.
Why would it? I mean, yeah, I guess it gives you all 5 colors. That makes sense to me.
Why is every card you're playing a sliver? Why do they have haste, and why am I now dead? Haha, fucker, gotcha. I seriously want to build it now. Oh, I might build that. But now everybody
literally knows
this podcast. So I'm not building it, guys. Don't worry. If I have Kenrith, it's my what is it again? Thrasios and Rayhan deck. I want to build it.
I'm not stopping you.
But yeah, I guess my point was kind of last minute discussing with you was more of like they just need to build more, make more commanders. Like I like the 5 colors. And just having a bunch of different options with it. And that I kind of want more like that where it isn't like focused that this is the deck you have to build.
Well, let's go like a little bit of a different angle. Like go Spellslinger decks. Like I can see what you're saying. So there's like Kaikar from M20 that whenever you play a non-creature spell, you get to create a spirit.
Your guy.
Or like Niv Mizzet Perun, which is whenever anybody plays a instant or sorcery, you get to draw a card and he gets a ping. So like those are both really going to be like spell-based decks, but Niv Mizzet basically has to be spell-based deck. Like instant and sorcery spell. If you go on like EDH Rec, it's just spell-based. It's instant sorcery-based. The one that I built is enchantment artifact-based. And I'm still able to get... And so, like, you do have more flexibility there. And I think you need to be able to be allowed to have that little bit of flexibility. So when you sit down, not every deck is, Kaikar, okay, you're going to be playing a bunch of instants and sorceries. To whereas Niv Mizzet, you're pretty pigeonholed in to, like, I'm instants and sorceries. You can play it different ways.
But you're going to be playing...
You're going heavy with that. And so if we're going to less of a degree, this is like Fable, the game Fable. You just go anywhere, everywhere, and you got a couple of things that you can do, and that's fun. But I think I'm more in the where like Kaikar is, like having flexibility in where I want to be going with it.
But you want a little bit of direction.
Because it allows you to focus your deck a bit more and gain those advantages, like. If you're going with like Kahiji, the Honored One, or Edric, like you can flex around with Edric. You can have a bunch of little like 1/1 creatures that have evasion, draw a ton of cards, or you can like have it where you have bigger creatures but they have evasion. You're able to get through. So like there's just that little bit of flexibility. Kahiji can be group hug and just force everybody to attack everybody. Or you can just go tokens, go wide, and just take the advantage yourself. Those I like a little bit more than so specific of Niv Mizzet Perun specifically. So, or like Teysa when you were using it was like death triggers. You only get death triggers. This is the only creature that deals with death triggers. I'm trying to think
of a lot of commanders. That's the thing. I guess that's why it got me thinking about Kenrith a little bit more is. Most commanders, you have, like you're saying there, a direction to go. Like even taking the ninja deck. I mean, how are you going to build? How are you going to make that deck? Pretty much, you're making evasive creatures, and then you have spells that you're killing everybody at one time. You know, there isn't going to be a big variation of that
for sure. Yeah,
but that's how a lot
really
of
focused
generals do that, though. That's kind of the point of it. That's why it triggers certain cards to go crazy because. This is the deck that's going to be built and that hasn't been built before or whatever. I liked seeing Kenrith being able to, like was just saying with you is You don't even take in red as a factor in this deck, but
No.
red is going to factor in this deck. In games, you're going to be like, I'm going to use this haste ability, and I'm going to hit you, and you, and
be able to trample over.
Yeah.
And the trample is going to be really nice with the creatures that gain the 1/1 counters because they get big. So I think
it's just an interesting commander. I want to see more of these, I guess, but I agree with you with other colors.
I don't
Given
want it
that
so
flexibility,
specific,
yeah.
but I like a little bit of a focus, in my opinion. So, Cumena, the Merfolk one. So it kind of forces you to be like Merfolk tribal, but you could be like drawing cards specific or +1/+1 counter specific,
Yeah, it has
or
a couple abilities, or Voltron in it and getting through with
exactly.
yours.
So you have that little bit of a flexibility where you could be going. So I think that's nice when you have a couple of different avenues that you can go. This one is just really wide, and that's why I think people are like, we're going to give stuff because that's what Kenrith does, and I would be a bad king, I guess.
Larry wants to take it all.
Punish my subjects. Would you like some bread? It's going to kill you.
Some other ideas. If you guys have some other ideas for Kenrith, shoot us a tweet, or
what angle would you like to go?
On YouTube, shoot a comment on there. Besides what we talked about, because I guarantee you there's some other angles that people want to use here. All right, so should we move into our fave 5's?
Enchantments.
I get to go first this time because you like to ruin shit.
And we also did not talk about our list beforehand, so I don't actually know what Adam has.
Yeah, so you can't ruin it this time.
I can't ruin it.
So
also, Bill from Woodbury made up a Planeswalker for me, and I love it.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah,
you guys can check that out on Twitter. It's pretty to a T of what Lowery is. All right, so I am going to start off with a card we've talked about a lot lately. I believe we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but it's Growing Rights of Itlimoc. That's my number 5. Yeah, so you wouldn't think of it as an enchantment, but it is a legendary enchantment.
Sure.
It starts as an enchantment, then it flips over to a land. You guys all know how much I like Gaia's Cradle. This is
That's probably why I didn't put it on my list, because I hate Gaia's Cradle.
But the thing is even when you play it, you get the ability of looking at the top cards of your library and getting a creature. It replaces itself in a way, and then it flips over to a Gaia's Cradle once you've...
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't even think about that. I don't even know if I have it in any of my decks right now.
Yeah, I try to put it in a lot of course, green decks, you're playing a lot of creatures, so that it goes in pretty much every green deck that I have. So, and
I don't know why it doesn't make it. So, but it's probably because I hate the card. No, it's good.
No, it's because you need a proxy for it, and it's a double-sided proxy, so that's a little bit more work that I have to do.
That's work.
So yeah, that's my number 5. What is your number 5?
My number 5 is going to be Phyrexian Reclamation, which is 1 black enchantment. You can pay a black colorless, pay 2 life, and bring a creature from your graveyard into your hand.
You do like that one.
It's super cheap, and it's just
made
really good.
That should have been in this list.
What's that?
Just made me think of another one that should be on my list. You use a lot, and I bet you it's on your 5.
It might be. But it it just gives you a ton of value late game or early game if people are picking off your Wood Elves. You're like, yeah, I'll take my Wood Elves back.
Yeah.
Play it and just get a lot of value.
Yep.
And Adam always complains about me liking the graveyard, and there's just one of those really cheap, consistent cards.
Yeah. I mean, I tend to play with that one. That's one that you'll even make. I think you started making suggestions. Why don't you have that? I'm like, oh yeah, I should be playing that one. That one typically jumps in late when I'm making my decks. I have my theme that's going on, and if it has black in it, that's normally a late add. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is the way to get all my stuff back. That's an awesome card. My number 4 is Land Tax.
Yeah,
I love Land Tax. 1-drop white, beginning of your turn. Somebody's probably going to have more land than you, and you get to go search for 3 land and put it into your hand.
I think if this triggers even once it's good. Really good.
Yeah. So
twice.
It's 3 planes, right?
No,
it's just 3
land.
Yeah, that's right.
Basic land.
I was thinking of Weather Wayfarer is the same thing. Any land. But yeah, it's basic land.
Land tax is any basic land.
Whether it is any land.
Any land.
Yeah. So
but you only get one.
So you guys can see Weather Wayfarer is my, one of my creatures, and then this is my enchantment. But I've been playing with every white deck. I pretty much have this in that deck and been doing that.
And this is one I don't like as much because I would prefer to be ramping. Mm-hmm. This gives you like consistency.
Yeah, and it filters out your deck a little bit is why I like it too. It's just a card that a 1-drop. It's an easy add to get in my deck. Yeah, I think
that's another big thing. Just being a 1-drop is ridiculous.
Yeah, pretty much all my cards in here don't cost more than 4 mana. So, what's your number 4?
My number 4 is Sylvan Library.
What?
Yeah, I've been playing this for a while.
Yeah.
Look at the top. Like basically, you draw the top 3 cards, and then you can put them back in any order, and then you pay 4 life if you want to draw more than one regular card.
So this would have been on my list. It wasn't my top 10, but I knew you were going to have it.
I've had the card longer.
Yeah, so I didn't get it until
me.
Eternal Masters, right?
Yeah, and I traded for mine a long time ago.
Yeah, and so I didn't just make the proxy until recently because I didn't own it yet, and then it's now sneaking into decks. More and more often.
It's super good.
It is a super very good card. My number 3, I kind of 2 of them here because they're the same thing, but it's Propaganda and Ghostly Prison.
Sure.
Because
they're the same card, just different colors.
So it's a card that I tell people whenever I'm trying to help them tweak decks if they have an aggressive deck or they're a target a lot. I think Tyson, I've suggested this a lot, or looked at his deck and I'm like, hey, you don't want people to attack you. I think he's playing his Boros chick that doubles damage or whatever.
Oh,
it's a good way to make it. People don't go for you because they don't want to spend 2 mana to attack you.
They want to develop their board state, still be able to get some damage in, and this kind of forces you to choose if you want to attack that opponent.
Yeah, so pretty much every white or blue deck, this is in there. If I have a white and blue deck, they're both going in there. Yeah, because then you just have more consistent that you're getting it. And if you get both of them out, hey, 4 mana to attack me. It's pretty ridiculous.
One thing that I generally do, like, and this is one of those things where I consciously decide, like, I think these are really, really good cards as well. And where I put them is, like, if I'm a smaller, quicker deck, or, like, I can't think of an example right now, but I try not to put them in there. But if I'm a slower, late roller, that's when I put them in.
And I was going to say is your decks, how you build, are pretty much how you are on the bed, like, in bed, you're just really quick and you get it done and like the game's over and everybody's just like, what just happened? He didn't even kiss me goodnight.
But I'm still impressed.
Mine is more of a slow build and typically it takes me a while to get it going and then boom, all over the place, and then everybody just, so like I need these cards to hinder people while I'm doing that to not actually come at me. And come at me, bro.
And one thing that I've tried to take them out because they would be really good for me because, again, I do get more hate at the beginning of games or even throughout the game.
Well, because you normally go, like I said,
I come out quick.
You do.
I come out quick.
Joke aside, you are the most consistent with ramping and getting your stuff out and getting going. You become a threat immediately because normally by turn 2 you have 17 land for some reason, and we don't get it. We're like, all right, I guess Lowery gets to drop like 7 land a turn, but you're very good at doing that. You're very consistent with that, and so you become a target right away.
Yeah, and that's the part of not having threats or being a threat early game, because that's probably my biggest fault. But it's like, as a deck builder / player, is I come out normally really quick, and people go, "Oh shit, we got to deal with this."
And it's 4 people. It's 3 other people coming at you.
And that's hard to fend off unless you just have.
You just got to build shittier decks.
That's
you got to build clunkier decks like me.
Or I got to, like, putting cards like this in there slows that kind of like that early damage where really I start at like 30 life and everybody else is at like 40, and that slows it down and makes people question if they actually want to attack me or not.
Because people don't want to spend their money, like, they want to cast their spells, and that's the biggest thing with these cards is they are the best way for people to not attack you is to have certain cards like this in there, because they will, or just put in an ensnaring bridge and don't have a hand. That also works. You're not even listening
My
to
number
joke.
3?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I stopped paying attention. I was like, we talked
Larry's
about this
drinking.
one really long. I am. I'm testing out next week's beer in front of Adam.
I'm jealous. He's
Not
sharing
currently
with Adam.
sharing with Adam, but will share with Adam. That's a really long hashtag. But my number 3 is Goblin Bombardment.
Oh, I was not expecting. Yeah, you do play this one a
Red
lot.
colorless enchantment. You can sacrifice a creature you control for free to deal 1 damage to any target.
You love your sacks.
I love my 1 sack, and then I like all the others. But just free sack outlet, able to kind of like control how you're pinging. It gives you a little bit of bonus if there's a wrath, then you can just get that extra value out of it. Sometimes you can work that in there, like if you're like a quick goblin deck, you just like get a bunch of people down and then they're kind of attacking you. You can block, sacrifice, stop their attack, still deal damage because you know it's going to die. Like, it has a lot of versatility.
Wrath comes in, you just sack your stuff, do it to their face.
And so like I just really, and it's cheap. It's not taking the place of any creature where I want to be playing it. These are all things like it's a good setup card early game. Nobody's going to be like, oh, I got to kill that, even though they probably should.
Yeah. It's funny because I like that we're doing this list and not knowing ahead of time, because as you say it, I'm like, oh yeah, Lowery does play that card a lot. Like, I didn't think of it until you said it. I'm like, yeah, that is a card that you typically play a lot, and it is very beneficial.
It's generally really solid. Again, it's not like overpoweringly amazing, but
it's not going to be a target. It's not going to get killed because people don't think it's that.
And it can just like knock off the last couple damage, or even if you want to like all out attack
can you direct
somebody
it to a planeswalker, because this is before planeswalker stuff. I believe it's
any target.
Yeah, we'd have to check that out. But if
like,
it isn't, it's still a player or a creature is still pretty damn good.
If you're looking to be really aggressive, you can just attack into a full board, knowing that some of your creatures are going to die and not trade, and then you can just sacrifice those to deal damage to other creatures and like get favorable combat damage. It just has a lot of flexibility in how you're rolling with that.
Don't read it, because I'm guessing what your number 1 is. Okay. My number 2.
Oh no!
You didn't put it on there, did you? Did you read what I wrote?
Yeah.
Oh no.
It should be.
Okay. So I'm going to say it now because the reason why I thought of it just now is I saw it on mine and I was like, I just bought the card, but it's how do you say
Reconnaissance.
Reconnaissance, which that should be in there because that is.
It's right there, circled, starred.
Oh, you
I had 5 others and I missed it. Oh no.
That is one of your cards that you like to use.
For
and
sure.
It made me think of what you just said with Goblin Bombardment is you'll attack, all out attack. The ones that get blocked, you remove them from combat. Blah 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 blah.
It messes with combat like stuff. It's
that I would have thought was your number 1. Almost.
Oh yeah.
Not mad.
I feel bad now. Yeah.
That's
my number 3 is
what I was writing down. You're like,
my number 3 is Reconnaissance.
3.5.
3.5.
2.5. All right. So my number 2 is a rather new card, and it might be on your list. Smothering Tithe.
Nope.
Oh no, because I know what is on your list.
You're looking at my list.
No, because I said one of them.
I'm not looking at your list, and it's
no. Remember, I said I knew
out.
one of them that was on your list, and you haven't said it yet. So, did you pay 2? So Smothering Tithe is the new one. Well, not new within the last year, but it's the anytime a player draws a card, they can pay 2 mana, or you get a treasure token.
Yeah,
it's just awesome for white.
It's really, really good white ramp.
We've had some brutal games. When you get that out, it's stupid.
Like if you're able to get that, like that game that I got turn 2 with Oketra, and nobody even had a second land out at that point because I started first, really and then I went land, Soul Ring, next turn land, Smothering Tithe. Nobody even had another land out. I was like, okay, treasure token.
It's just a silly card.
And then I was able to go like Oketra, creature, another creature token. Like it was stupid.
I'm gonna have one argument with I think the card that you're gonna either be at your number 2 or number 1, but like with this compared to your number 2 or number 1, you don't have to
my
like
shit or piss.
People don't think that it's that threatening to give you a token, treasure token, whereas another card that won't be named it is.
Yeah, I think that's what we need to do is call it the card that will not be named.
He must not be.
No, I think one thing though, the downfall with Smothering Tide.
Is that your number 2, by the way?
None of your business until a couple minutes from now. But Smothering Tithe, one thing where I have had a ton. Remember when we were playing at Mark's that first time I played Oketra, and I got Smothering Tide down and nobody had it. I didn't. I had like 20 treasure tokens, but I couldn't use it. That's the downfall with it, is when you don't have the cards in your hand or like a mana sink or something. I was just like,
there's no point in having these.
Yeah, because like
but
people
for the
looked
most
at
part,
they looked at my hand and they're like, I don't care if you have the land.
Exactly.
You don't have anything in your hand.
Well, that's the thing, is late game it doesn't help you, whereas your number 2 or number 1, the card that must not be named, that is good beginning game, middle game, late game. This can be not so helpful when you're 10 turns in, because at that point you're like,
unless you have the draw. Like if you have enough cards in your hand, then it becomes good, because then it's like an engine that just allows you to keep going.
So what's your number 2?
Ristic Study. I have loved this card from the start.
You have.
I've been playing it since it was a $2.50 card, and I went, this card's fucking ridiculous.
And that was on my list that I added while we were talking, and that's when I was like, I like Ristic Study, but I guarantee you it's on your list. So,
but whenever an opponent plays a spell, they pay 1 or you draw a card. This card wins you games.
Yeah,
it just.
That's
wins you games.
Early, late game, middle game, late game. It's a good card. Like I just said, you're drawing cards.
And it's the torture of, did you pay 1?
Did you pay 1?
Did you pay 1?
Did you pay 1?
And this is understandably.
That's why we have a Digi-token for it, guys.
Yeah,
if you want it.
So you don't.
You can get it anytime.
It's this card just draws your cards, fills your hand. This with Smothering Tithe is super good.
Yeah.
There's not much more to say. If you got it, play it. Smoke it if you got it.
All right, my number 1 is a card that I've been playing for a long time, and it goes hand in hand with one you talked about earlier, but it's Mirri's Guile. I've always liked playing this card. Before we actually were making good decks, this was in my, it was just a good way to, so it's a 1-drop green enchantment. Begin your upkeep. You may look at the top 3 cards of your library and then order them in any way you want.
Yeah.
So
it's a free top at the beginning of, it's like Sensei's top at the beginning of your upkeep.
And you don't have to pay any mana for it, and it just does it. The one downfall it has is if you have 3 land and you're not looking for a land, there's nothing, if you can't filter out.
Yeah, you need those shuffle effects.
Effect. But the nice thing is if you are screwed with that, you're able to bring a card up to the top.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is true. And that's where I like Sylvan Library better, is because you're just able to draw through it and go, fuck it, taking 4 or 8 just to get to different cards.
What was the game? It was
you were Tolsmere.
Adam number 2. Was it number 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I killed myself basically because I didn't draw my 3rd land. I drew 12 cards by taking 4 life, and I didn't draw my 3rd land until I think the 13th card.
You were pretty dead.
But Sylvan Library is better in that situation. I was still dead, but I wouldn't have been able to do that with
you would have just sat there and done literally nothing. This way gave you a little bit more hope. Yeah. But I can understand, Mirri's Guile is at the very least a nostalgia pick for you. Yeah. But you're still using it all the time too.
Yeah. It goes hand in hand. If I have one or the other, sometimes I've been picking Sylvan Library, but I don't think I've ever had to make that decision actually. They're always both of them in there at the same time. So let me see if I can guess your number 1. You didn't do Aura Shards, right?
I did not. You're just gonna name cards this is 1.5.
No. What is Mirri's? The other Mirri's?
Nope.
You didn't do that one.
Mirari's Wake.
Mirari's Wake.
Nope.
Shoot, I'm just going off my
list.
This
card has given me the most joy playing out of any card.
Attrition.
Nope.
Dang it. I thought for sure you'd have that.
That's not a bad one either.
All right, I gotta give up.
Aura of Silence.
Oh, yes.
So opponents can't cast artifacts or enchantments.
It's recent, though, that you've been doing
that.
No,
I've been doing that a long time.
I guess it's only been done to me once recently.
So opponents have to pay 2 more for artifacts or enchantments, and you can sacrifice it at any time to destroy target artifact or enchantment. But man, does it give me joy when somebody goes Soul Ring, and I go, 2 more.
Yeah.
And they're like, damn it, 3 for a Soul Ring? It just makes people go, I don't want to play these cards, and it just switches their whole focus. And then when it's targeted, you get to just sacrifice it and destroy something.
Again,
like,
we have a Digitoken for this.
Yeah, we do.
Lowery likes it so much.
Absolutely adore this card. Like, it is just so much fun for me.
I'm surprised.
Are you?
Just some of the ones. What are there cards that you think that I missed that would have thought been on my list?
Off your list?
I thought Aura Shards would have been in there for you.
You know, I only have one proxy, so like I don't really use it because I think it is really, really good. This is more of like our favorites.
Yeah.
And it like that card when it comes down, it almost like just controls the table and like drags it down.
Attrition, I thought was another one you used.
Attrition, I did use that a lot, but I've really slowed down on that one. What are I kind of told you the ones that I don't know.
Oh, should we do our like what are other ones that were on there?
Yeah, we can talk about
Aura
those,
Shards, Doubling Season. I had Sylvan Library, Zendikar Resurgent, Soothsaying. I've always liked that card. You
have really liked that card.
It just the reason I didn't put it in here is because it doesn't. I haven't had a game where I'm like, oh, this saved me. Whereas I picture
it's in your ninja deck though,
yeah,
right?
Definitely, because it can reorganize the top. And that's it. Those are the ones that I had on here.
The ones that I didn't put in: Exploration, Brave the Sands, Curse of Opulation, which I was huge on for like probably the last like 8 months. I was putting that on everything. It was like pepper. I
or
fucked
like
up.
Parmesan cheese on your pizza.
Yeah, exactly. I put Parmesan on more than pizza.
I was gonna say, but there's more Parmesan than pizza.
Don't be jealous. I fucked up and didn't have Reconnaissance on this list. That was my own fault.
Yeah, that might have been. Do you think that would take your number one spot? Maybe.
Yeah, I think that might push off everything. Actually, I think I'd take out Goblin Bombardment. Because I really like Phyrexian Reclamation.
Yeah.
And Sylvan Library. Opposition. That's a card that I love.
Yeah, you do like that card.
For some reason. It just never works. So I'm not suggesting that one. Phyrexian Arena. I love Defense of the Heart. Asceticism. And then I put Monastery Siege for some reason. I don't even remember why.
You have used that lately, but yeah, I don't know if I put that as your...
Yeah.
You're just writing down the list of things you liked. Yeah.
So, but for sure, Reconnaissance was a mess up. Not having on there.
It's a card that I'm glad you turned me to recently because that is a very good card, and so I'm going to try to plug that in. I haven't made a token of that one yet, proxy of that one yet. In the works. All right, we need to move on to our next topic. We thought we were going to be short with everything, but we're actually long with everything. So
ANL
questions.
All right, Bill from Woodbury.
He wrote, let me pull this up here. So he wrote, which MTG guild do you each identify with? / if you could only play one color pair, what would it be? So
okay, I guess we did read this differently. I went with identifying with, and Adam, up until like prepping for this, he went with what would you play with.
So we
like only color. So we both thought different things.
Two parts of the question, and we've answered it both, right?
Yeah.
We kind of figured this out, and we have a little bit of a guess for each one that we think. You go first on this one. What was the guild that you would most likely play?
So most likely play. So again, here I cheated on all these, honestly.
Put like 10 answers.
Put variables. So what would I play most? Either Green Black X.
Green Black X?
Yeah, which is another color,
X?
which is like something else in there.
That's terrible.
Or Red White X.
That's stupid.
I really like Red White Black, Red White Blue, Red White Green.
Did you read the dude's question?
Any two?
Yeah,
I saw that. That's why it's X. I did. But if I have to pare it down, I would say if I could only play
two colors,
it'd be Green Black. That would be what I'd have to play. It has the graveyard. It has creatures.
I had you pegged as Simic or Dimir. So Simic is green blue because you like your blue stuff, and I do too. And then I thought Dimir because you have your blue black, you're killing and your blue stuff. I know you're a green guy, but I kind of see you as I guess that's why Simic I lean more towards.
Currently, I would say, like, I'm still really big into the graveyard, and that's where green-black kind of thrives a bit more.
Well, this is where we're going to be boring, because I picked
Green-black.
Golgari. I went green-black. And actually, Bill from Woodbury, he's Golgari as well.
We're Golgari friends.
Yeah. So if that's the color I play, because I like green creatures, the ramp, and the black aspect is killing. Like, if you see my fave 5's, it's a lot of protecting my shit and then also
destroying their shit.
Yeah.
I think we're playing it for different reasons.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
You're about graveyard, and I'm more killing.
Yeah. So that's different.
All right, so what would you identify with? This was pretty easy for me to pick for you. Wait. Let's back this up. Can you go through each of them like you did for me before the cast? Say what each one.
So very basics. If you tuned out last year when I was reading the stories, like Adam.
Yeah, the really good stories that were just awful.
So Azorius is white blue, and I look at them more like the law. They're like lawyers, judges, that kind of thing.
Politics.
Politics. That's kind of how I see it a little bit. Dimir, that's black blue, which are like spies. Rakdos, which is black red, which is like hedonists, like demons, whatever you're fucking into. I don't judge you. Don't worry about it. You got Gruul, which is like red green, and they're like people that party down by the river. They like want to hang out in nature, but also just rock out. Selesnya, that's green white. They're probably more like hippies that want to chill. They're probably potheads. I'd guess that. You got Azorius, which are kind of like, in my mind, the banks, and also they kind of remind me of like not grave diggers, but the people that you got to pay to bury.
Taxman?
No, not but yeah, taxman a little bit, but more in my mind. When you go to a funeral home, the people that like arranged everything, that are kind of like, they're also partially plastic people at that point.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
Not the embalmer, but the, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So is blue-red. They're more like the mad scientists, electricity, experimentation. Golgari are kind of like the gardeners. They deal in rot and growing things.
Deal with you. You were a farmer at one point.
Red-white is a bit more militant. Boros, and then Simic is kind of like experimentation with organics and out in nature and stuff like that.
So I pegged you as Azorius. Personality-wise.
I pegged me Azorius as well. For one of them. I did, this is, like I said, I cheated.
X.
Not X, but I chose two colors. For me personally, like I would agree with you on that. Like I am very rule-oriented. I don't do much out of what I'm supposed to be doing. We made fun of me last week. I drive the speed limit, if not under.
Oh, man. If I'm going
sometimes over, but I feel bad after.
Like you don't even go 5? Like 5? I go 7 is mine.
It depends on where I'm going. Like if I'm driving from my house to work, no. There's no point. If I'm driving from here to the farm, which is 7.5 hours, yes, I'll go 5 over.
What about like when you would come to my house to do the podcast? You want to get there to do it, right?
That's not under, but it's not over. So it's pretty much right on. I also don't have cruise control, so
that's a big difference.
And
I set my cruise. Yeah.
I purposely did not put cruise control in my car.
Why?
Because
you're Azorius.
Gotta follow the rules. No, I mean actually,
you have a
that's
stick.
beside the point.
You have
a stick.
So
yeah, we don't have to get into that right now. But I also thought of myself a little bit like Gruul, red green. That's
what I picked myself as.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, especially
I did actually put you down for red green.
Especially when you just said when you went through this list. You didn't say it the first time, but you said
no, I didn't.
Rock out by the river. I was like, that sounds like me. With
That's
nature.
me. I'm glad I put that down.
Like, I'll take that color. I did put Gruul or Simic, I guess, is what I put for me.
I put red blue as the other one for you.
Red blue? You have me as, is it a mad scientist?
Yeah. I don't know why. I think it was Simic. It should have been Simic.
Simic or, I don't know. The
Let me
Gruul
turn
one.
that R into a G.
No one sees it, Lowery. So you did have Gruul on there. For
I did
me as
have
well?
Gruul. Yeah,
All
that
right.
was my first one.
All right, that's what I
So
wrote
I did
too.
have you do that a bit more, but like I'm probably the Gruul part of me is probably your fault. So just hanging out.
I did just have
Drags.
our I was gonna say on Facebook memory just popped up from when we were Scooby-Doo and the gang. You remember that?
Yeah, I mean until
Or
I
do
blacked
you?
out and
Yeah.
fell, hit my head real hard.
Oh man, yeah, okay. I think that's pretty good.
What do you identify with? The
Yeah,
most
for sure.
out of the two colors.
Bill from Woodbury, like I said, is Golgari, but that was, did he say Swarm here? So I don't know if he actually identifies that or if that's the color you like, but we'd like to know what you guys. I'll also tag the question as well so you guys can respond to that.
I do wonder if people like. I think you should answer both. What do you identify and what do you play most, or what's the place
For sure.
Because I want to see if people like play with what they identify with. Because clearly, like,
obviously we don't.
I don't like white blue to play with, but personality wise, I would agree. I'm very rule oriented.
I could see playing green red a little bit, but
I did. Did I say that I that was my second one? Red, green, Gruul?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did say that.
That's where I jumped in because then I was like, that's also what mine is. But yeah, for sure, I'm a Golgari player, but not a Golgari. I don't farm and deal with.
That one was a little harder. Like I don't think that was appropriate description that I used. But,
Zombie worshippers.
yeah, which isn't a real thing in our real life.
It can be there. There's probably some.
I mean, there are some. Yeah,
we have The Walking Dead. Zombies are kind of a big thing right now.
no, that's not as big a thing anymore, is it?
It still is out
Is
there.
this still a big show?
I mean, we stopped watching it. It got really.
So then it doesn't.
stupid.
It's not good anymore.
Spoiler alert! If you want to know what
dumb.
happens, Carl dies.
What? Carl.
Actually,
I only have heard that on the radio where they're
like
making fun of it.
a bunch of times. Okay, so
Wow. I didn't see that coming.
well, dies too.
Jesus.
I probably should cut all that out. I'm gonna bleep that. I'm gonna. That's exactly what I'm gonna do, because I think there might be people that are. I don't know. It'd be really weird if people are just catching up on Walking Dead.
How long ago did this happen?
A couple of years ago. I think 2 years ago now. I think might have left last year, if I remember right.
Yeah, I feel like left last year.
And right before that, died.
And that's why he left?
No, he's doing a new show or something like that. The actor.
So they wrote him off the script.
Yeah,
or
pretty
off the
much.
show.
They killed
Okay,
him
okay.
off. Yeah.
You got a lot of bleeps there.
Bleep died and bleep this and bleep that. Okay. We are running long. I think we're going to cut it there. So, yeah, you guys, like I said, next week
What are your favorite enchantments?
Yeah.
You don't have to do like a list or anything, but
Yeah, I'd like to see what other people like to use. So it's your favorite, what you use a lot when you make
yeah,
decks.
it doesn't have to be the best, but whatever you really enjoy playing with.
Because, like, for example, there where we were just talking about, Mir's Guile is my number one, but right now, Sylvan Library probably is, it's probably a better card. I think it is a better card, but I typically have been using Mir's Guile for 10, 15 years, at least that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, we'd like to hear that, and then also which guilds you guys represent.
Identify with.
Yeah, there we go. That's a better word.
And play the most.
All right, we will catch you guys next week.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.
Bye.